Hello and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for March of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas, and I'm in San Francisco, California.
Let's take a look at what's happening for you in March. Well, Leo, let's start with Ceres. Ceres, asteroid goddess Ceres, is traveling along through Libra, and it's retrograde. Now, Ceres covers the things that connect us with the physical world, our bodies, our food and eating, our self-care and stewardship and health, and also finances and security. When Ceres goes retrograde, these things can become a little bit messy, or messes that were already going on may come to light. Ceres is traveling through your third house, and I have to tell you, unfortunately, this is a place where Ceres is generally uncomfortable because this is the house of fall for Ceres, like Gemini is the sign of fall for Ceres. Now, the reason for this is that in the third house, which is a house of thinking and communicating and problem solving and curiosity and intellectual stimulation, this transit can be a time when you find yourself like worrying and fussing and chasing your own tail in circles as you try to solve financial problems that seem to get bigger even as you're trying to solve them, or get more complicated as you're trying to solve them. And at some point, you may even just have to throw up your hands and say, you know, I can't solve this with my mind. This is a body or a physical problem, and no amount of abstract thinking is going to figure it out. I need to just get in my body and be in my body, and that's where the solution will happen. So there's a clue for you. Ceres is going to be in retrograding until early May. So there's really plenty of time to sort it all out, and we'll continue to give you advice about it in your horoscopes until then. Now, we also have Juno traveling along through Aries up here in your ninth house. And Juno is not retrograde, yay, but she's in a sign she's a little bit uncomfortable with, which is Aries. And that's because Juno is very partnership oriented, and Aries is much more selfish and self-directed than that. So Juno's been traveling along through the ninth house, and she starts out the month here. This is a house of adventure and expansion and growth and travel. And I think Juno enjoys her sojourn in this house, and it can be a great time, and I hope that it is, for you and your partner, whether that's a business partner or a spouse or a long-term relationship. It's a really great time for you to have adventures with that person, to undertake a growth process, to experience an expansion, to give each other maybe a little bit more freedom, a little bit more space. And so this transit can be really fun, like a renaissance. Now, Juno is going to move on out of this house and into your 10th house right here on March 11th. And the 10th house is a house of work. It's a house of building a reputation. It's a place where anything here becomes something that we feel pressured to put in an effort with. So it's rendered work just by being in the 10th house. And so Juno appearing here might bring up some work that needs to be done in a committed partnership that you have. It may be that your marriage has attained the state of a fixer-upper, and this might be the time to do some of that good work. Juno will be passing through the 10th house for about 2 months, and so I'll let you know when she changes houses again. Hey, Julia, what's up with Venus, Mercury, and Mars for the Leos of the world?
Some lovely things are happening, Leo.
Venus, the planet of pleasure and relationships, starts the month in your 9th house. This is a very expansive house. It has to do with learning and philosophy and travel and new adventures. So Venus in this month might be a time where, for the first half of the month, might be a time where you have a chance to go on a pleasure trip. Or maybe you're planning out your next one. If you are traveling for spring break, let's say, Venus in the 9th house will ensure you'll have a great time, as well as be an opportunity for a little holiday romance if you're single. And if you're in a relationship, then this is a great time for a sort of romantic adventure together, even if it's just hiking in your local woods, just anywhere with big open spaces, because Venus in the 9th is very expansive when it comes to love. Then on March 16th, Venus enters your 10th house. This is a very public house. It's your reputation. It's your public image. It also represents authority figures and career. So with Venus in the 10th house, this gives you a boost to your public reputation. You know, if you do anything public in the public eye, if you broadcast yourself on social media, this is a really nice transit for just coming off more charming and more beautiful in the public arena. You might also be wanting to make your relationship more public with Venus in this house, maybe introducing your partner to your workmates, for example, or to your parents. And Venus in the 10th is just a nice time for enjoying your job, getting along well with the people you work with in general. And then Mercury, the planet that represents our mind, spends only one day, the first day of the month, in your 7th house of partnership, where you might be communicating more with your partner or thinking about your next relationship. But by the 2nd, Mercury enters your 8th house. And this is a very financial house. You know, tax season is coming up and this house rules taxes. So maybe your mind is preoccupied with getting all of the practical things. You know, Mercury is a very practical planet, in order financially for you, organizing them, strategizing them, getting contracts and things all buttoned up. And it could be a time where you're talking more, maybe with your partner, maybe with your family, the people closest to you, about money as well. Then by March 18th, Mercury enters your 9th house, just a couple of days after Venus left. And again, more activity in the 9th house. This is a wonderful transit for learning new things. And again, for traveling or thinking about your next trip too, with Mercury here. If you are involved in any type of legal matter, which is 9th house activity, you know, Mercury will help you kind of sort things out. Maybe you'll be talking about it more, communicating about it more, or strategizing around it. And then finally, Mars. Mars has been in your 11th house of friends and long-term goals for a very long time, since last fall, late fall. And that's because Mars did a whole retrograde cycle here. And he's been here for so long that I'm sure you're sick of it now, and you'll be happy to know he'll be out of here by the 25th. However, you know, for the first few weeks of the month, you might still have some frustrations, especially with pursuing any long-term hopes, wishes, dreams, and goals of yours. Maybe you've been feeling really impulsive, like, I want it now. And it just, you know, you got to keep waiting. You got to keep working on it. Mars in the 11th can mean that you run into some conflict in the groups in your life, maybe among colleagues, maybe among unions or recovery programs or gamer circles. And maybe you're having some flare-ups with friends too. Now, by the 25th, Mars is going to move out of here and into the 12th house. This is a house of isolation, of spirituality. Mars in the 12th is a wonderful time for any type of spiritual activity, whether you like to pray in church. This is wonderful for qigong and meditation and yoga. You know, try a little meditation if you don't do it, just 1 or 2 minutes a day, and kind of put your energy and drive into it. You might find that, you know, you get a little further than usual. It's also a nice time if you do anything that's service oriented, like volunteering, working for charity. But Mars in the 12th, what's challenging about Mars in the 12th is, since Mars is our anger and the 12th house is a hidden place, this is a time where you just might not want to show your anger to anybody, and you might want to act a little bit more behind people's backs. The only problem with that is the 12th house is the house of self-sabotage. So make sure before you do anything acting behind people's backs, you know, don't even make sure, just try not to do it, because there is a tendency it might kind of blow up in your face later. So try to be above board with your actions with Mars in the 12th for the last week of the month.
Yep, definitely. And carrying into next month too.
Oh, yeah.
So a couple of moons to report. Here we have the full moon in Virgo right here. And let me just alter this by a couple of hours so you can really see it when it's precise. Right here on March 7th, full moon, 16 degrees in your second house. This is such a great moon for getting organized. And I think it's delightful the way it lands in your second house, because that's a domain that really has just great use for a moon like this. So that's Ceres domain of food, body, and money. And so this full moon in Virgo can bring a lot of, let's say, emotionally driven organizational capability. I do think that because emotions tend to run high during a full moon, that you might find yourself building up quite a head of steam, perhaps, and maybe getting into some conflict or pushback with a partner that you share finances with, especially if you go and you look into your own finances. You know, that's what the second house is. And you're trying to sort out and organize what's going on with them, and then you discover some problems that take you to your partner and make you say to your partner, why do you have to be so disorganized financially? Why can't you be more like me? But there is help, ample help actually, from Uranus right here and Pallas Athena right here that can help you to get across whatever you need to get across to your partner around money. And the one caution that I have is that Mars squaring this moon really brings quite a bit of irritation and frustration and a little bit of an edge to the communication especially. So watch out for that during this moon. The next thing that happens is that we have the seasonal change, which happens on the 20th. The sun moves on out of Pisces and into Aries right there on the 20th. And so thus begins not only a new sign and a new season by sign, but a whole new year, because this is the beginning of the year. It's the spring equinox, and there is such a feeling of freshness and newness and excitement and enthusiasm and so much energy to the equinox that it's just full of the quality of beginnings, and you're bringing that into the ninth house. And this is so appropriate because we're calling this moon this yes, this is what I'm trying to say, is that it's followed right away on the 21st by this new moon right here, and we're calling it clear your head and begin your expedition. So the sun moves into equinox mode and the moon joins it immediately. And if I can reduce this by just a couple of hours, you can see, yep, this moon actually happens in 0 degrees of Aries, right in that equinoctial point. And so it is so newborn, it's still squalling. So this particular moon, clear your head and begin your expedition, is so appropriate for your ninth house, which is a house of adventure and expansion and growth. It's a house of quests and seeking. And so bringing this rough and ready, this raw and very vital Aries energy is just terrific. So this is a really good moon for beginning things. And I think that it would be very important to make sure that you're lighting the right spark, that you're beginning the thing that you want to begin, and not, lighting a spark on something that's going to explode later. And there is some stress and tension built into this moon in opposition to Ceres, a square to Mars. That can definitely bring the tension up for sure, and the irritation. But these things can be managed, and there's actually a lovely sextile to Pluto that brings in a relentless quality that can really add follow through to whatever it is, whatever spark you should be lighting during this moon. You can find out so much more about these moons and the news of the month on our forecast page, which is on our website, pandoraastrology.com. And there you can find the videos about these moons, find out more about how they land for you, and other news of the month as well.
If you love Pandora Astrology's free and informative horoscopes, please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share our horoscopes with your friends.
Horoscopes are fun, but they're also really general. If you want to explore this month's themes more personally, we'd love to meet with you in a real live reading where you can gain powerful insights and learn what you need to make the big decisions in your career, family, or relationship. You'll find the link in the description below. Enjoy this beautiful springtime, and until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.